Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Canadian Rocketship Companies, where we profile Canadian startups who will help you accelerate your career. I'm your host, Alex Norman, and this week I'm joined by Vahid, co-founder and COO of Owl.co. If you have any questions for Vahid while we're recording this, you can get them up in front of us by commenting on the media channel or stream you're watching this in. So if you're on LinkedIn, put a comment. If you're on YouTube, put a comment. If you're on Twitter, reply, and we'll see the comment or question. I'll be happy to incorporate it into this conversation. So let's get started. Let's welcome Vahid onto the show.
Thanks, Alex, for inviting me. Excited to be here and excited to spend some time with you and the amazing Tech Toronto team.
Well, super excited to have you as well, Vahid. So before we get into Owl, why don't you tell us about 30 seconds what you did prior to becoming a founder?
I spent a lot of time in the strategy consulting world. So I was with Boston Consulting Group and spent most of my time with insurance companies and banks, and the digital transformation journey that they were going through is definitely a hot topic. It's been a while now, but it's very challenging as well with all the change management that is required. I think that background was very relevant for the story of Al, which we're probably going to cover a little bit more.
Well, why don't we get into Owl right now? Give us like the 30-second elevator pitch of what Owl does.
So we actually help insurance companies in the disability and health space with monitoring their claims to confirm the eligibility of the claim to receive payments. And the way that OWL works is that we are very much focused on bringing an external view of the claimants in an unbiased and compliant way, and complement the data that the insurers have to confirm eligibility. That has proven a massive amount of value for not just the insurer, but also those who are their clients, not the claimants, because the cost of ineligible claims basically get transferred to all the end users of the insurance company. So it's a massive opportunity, especially at the time where you have a lot of complexity in the economy. Saving insurers money and transferring that savings to the end users of the insurance has a massive impact on the economy.
So I love that you're helping all of us save on our insurance bills.
Yeah, that's the whole goal.
How did you get here? Because what was the inspiration behind it? I've been watching Owl for a while, and I've seen you guys do a few changes in what you've done. So talk us a bit about the Owl journey to get to this product and to what looks like product market fit.
Yeah, so it was a fun journey that started off by us being able to build a very powerful engine that aggregates data from external sources about the customers of the banks and insurance companies. We've pivoted 2 or 3 times, and it was very much around the time that COVID hit a couple of months before that. And we saw an amazing pilot results that was coming out with one of our clients for this claims monitoring, that we decided to really double down on and focus on claims monitoring as our core area of offering and focus. And it's been a fun journey. To be honest, it was all ups and downs. It wasn't like a straight line. So it was a lot of talking to the client, getting their feedback, getting their thought process into the whole thing, and understanding where they see the most value. And as you build a tech startup, is very much around like finding a scalable solution both for yourself and your customers. And this was truly the one that scaled the fastest. I can talk a little bit more about like how fast we grew and why we really have a product market fit, but I'll wait for your probably like maybe
we'll get to that question. So
okay.
tell us a bit more of the journey, because it sounds like your initial insight was, hey, let's collect a lot of data. So how did you and your co-founders come up with this hypothesis? What was the opportunity you saw?
So so my 2 other co-founders, Sean, who is the CEO, and Saurabh, who is the CPO, they're coming from an interesting background. They actually built a company in the gaming before this. They had multiple exits, so they're serial entrepreneurs. I bring the enterprise background and experience, and the biggest challenge that I was seeing when I was involved in all those digital transformation of the banks and insurance companies was they're really lacking a high quality data for a fast servicing of their customers. And they when I was talking to Sean and Saurabh, we were talking about like, can we truly change the game and the experience of the way that insurance or banks are serving their customer? That's when we started off of, can we do a fast onboarding? That was our initial offering into the market. The biggest challenge there is each insurers or bank, depending on their product, want their own flow. So it was taking some time and requires some customization on our end. So we were like, this engine is very powerful. Can we use this engine? And that led to this claims monitoring.
So love that. You knew data could help improve stuff. You tried a few places. You got to claims insurance monitoring. Along the way, you also set up the company a bit unique. You were, I think, based in Montreal and Vancouver at launch. You went through the Holt Accelerator. Now, big chunk of the team's in Toronto. So tell us a bit about that journey. Like, how did you do? It was before the pandemic, so having co-founders in different parts of the country or different parts of the world was a bit less common. So how did you manage that? Why did you go through an accelerator?
That's an interesting question, because I think without knowing that the pandemic is coming, we were preparing for working remotely. From the starts, we were in two different cities. I was always based out of Toronto. Sean and Saurabh were based out of Vancouver, so we were doing this remote thing, work from home, for a while at the beginning of Al. Then we met with the folks at Holt, and we did a couple of interviews with them to see if there is a fit. And we saw a great network of people and advisors who they put together in Montreal. And Montreal is really a great hub for both talents and from a lens of
Vahid?
we went back with where we were all based out of. So Toronto became the second office after Vancouver, and then we are now in the lookout for an office maybe in the US. But with the pandemic in place, it's very hard now to pick where it should be, that office should be.
Well, I imagine it might be on the East Coast because targeting insurance industry, I feel lots of us on the East Coast. So let's get to that product market fit. So it sounds like you did a lot of customer development. You're always questioning where can we add the most value. You got to this current iteration of customers and product. How do you know that this was the right product market? You had product market fit. Was it growth? Tell us a bit about what you started experiencing.
Yeah. So if I go back in time to March 2020, kind of like a couple of months before we all went to lockdown, it was kind of like a time that we had a couple of clients using our platform. And then we started off this one pilot, which was around claims monitoring. And the results was coming in February, and it was showing like amazing ROI and amazing value for the clients. But we were still unsure of like, is this really the product market fit? And boom, March 2020, we all went locked down, and we suddenly saw a lot of interest and kind of like inbound requests that started coming in. We started demoing like what we can do, and we started bringing a lot of customers in a very short period of time. So to give you some stats, a typical sales cycle for like large insurance companies in Canada and the US, you're talking about like 18 to 24 months. We started having clients signing up like in July, then September, and in the last month we brought 7 new accounts on board, and these are all large players. And it's very much on that to me is the biggest signal of the product market fit. So they're all coming on board, and more importantly, not only they come on board to evaluate the solution, but they're actually like ramping up and deepening their relationship with Al. So that's when so two things happen: one, the number of new logos that come on board, and two, within each logo, and the ramp up and the increase in the usage.
Well, I also heard a third thing there was a quicker sales cycle, because like the financial institutions, 18 to 24 months is what I normally see with lots of companies, but sounds like you're seeing significantly faster sales cycles.
Yeah, much faster, like in the order of like 6 to 9 months.
Wow.
That's
And
kind of like
so,
when we went from the first touch point to the initial onboarding.
just ideas like how fast have you grown? Is it 5x, 10x? Like just no, you don't have to give us the numbers, but you said like you've grown really quickly. What is it really
Fro-
quickly?
from a number of new accounts perspective, we went in that particular product from 1 in March to now around 15.
And that was March last year. So 15x in customers. And we're not talking about like small customers. We're talking about large
These are
insurance companies.
large brand names. Yeah,
Yeah, that's unlike product market fit.
yeah,
So
yeah.
today you're sitting at X number of large insurance companies or financial institutions. If we sat down in 10 years, how do you hope to describe Al?
We actually talk a lot about this, and if we did an exercise a couple of months back about our company vision and mission, and it's very much around like helping every insurers across the globe use our claims monitoring tool to be fair in their market and pay the ones who are eligible to get the payment, and then pass the savings to those good citizens of the world. So being on the side of insurers and partnering with them is really our mission, and having this in 10 years globally, everyone using it, is really our mission, and hopefully dream come true if I talk to you in 10 years.
So a global company making insurance more affordable for all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. And then go back to the presence right now. So I assume you're hiring, you're growing fast. So what roles are you looking to hire for?
There are three areas that we really need help with from a growth perspective. One area is around like core product and tech. So we're always looking the lookouts for top engineering talents to join our team. We have an amazing Vancouver office. We're just opening our Toronto office. We moved offices from one place now after pandemic. We landed on the office, so it's going to be a very nice looking office in Toronto too. So engineering talents is our top priority, and I think we have all the right team members to grow it. We have a lot of people who joining us from top names like Facebook who joined our team. We're building really cool and complex technology. So those who have backgrounds in ML and any sort of like full stack development is our top hiring needs. And on the customer success and sales, the two other categories are also what we are looking at. So sales is basically like continuing the growth is very much around like land and expand a strategy, but we need to get as much market share possible because it's a really untapped market and there is a lot of differentiation that we bring in. And from a customer success aspect, it's very important for us to be the right partner for the insurer. So we have developed very organized and a structured process to bring a customer on board and see the ROI of our tool. And that part of change management is what we have perfected. So those are the three areas that we are really on the lookout for growth.
Hey, Vahid, so sorry about that. It seems like we may have lost Alex. So I'll just wrap it up on his behalf, and then we will wrap up the show. The joys of doing live streams. Amazing. So where can folks find out about these open opportunities?
So we have on our website, if you go to our website, we have a domain, and maybe we can share that afterwards. We have a dedicated recruitment page where we list all the available positions, and we love to hear and involve with the broader community in Canada to do most of our recruitment. That's where we are expanding the majority of our workforce.
Amazing. So we'll make sure we include that in today's show notes as well. So if you're listening to the podcast, make sure to head over there and you can find the link directly there. And where can folks connect with you directly if they're wanting to chat? Maybe they're looking to get into the industry, anything like that.
I'm always reachable on LinkedIn. They can also send me an email on my Al email. I'm very open to kind of be connected to the tech community in Toronto. And in Vancouver, as I mentioned, the other two co-founders are based out of Vancouver. It's a great team, very open to connect with the broader community and help each other. We are building an amazing tech community in Canada, and helping each other is very much should be the first thing on top of everyone's mind.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll make sure you can finish off the conversation with Alex at another time. But thank you so much. We will catch up another time. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks, Leon, and say hi. Thank Alex for the initial part of the interview.
I will. Thank you. And to everyone that's still listening, this is not our only event this week. We're actually doing 5 events in 5 days at Tech Toronto. So if you're here with us tomorrow, we're doing branding for early stage founders with the folks who helped with the rebranding at Brex. A lot of really amazing folks that led a really successful rebranding over there. Thursday, we will be doing quick takes. So Jason and Alex will be hitting the stage, talking about this week's tech news. And Friday, we have a very special edition of Founders and Funding. We're going to have the team behind Galvanize talk about their $1 billion acquisition by Diligent this week. So it's a really exciting week. Make sure you stay tuned into everything we have going on. And make sure you catch up on our past episodes of the Rocketship podcast. We do this every Tuesday with a lot of really cool founders, and you can find them at Canadian Rocketship Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks so much for joining us today.